Good morning. Feel like a pretty good day today. It was a little cold when I woke up, but some clouds coming, so it's warming up a little bit. Something I learned from moving from California to Oregon was that the clouds are sort of your best friend and your worst enemy. They're your best friend in the wintertime and your worst enemy in the summertime. The summers here are gorgeous in the Portland area, and a lot of that's because the air is just really clean and clear. But in the wintertime, it gets pretty cold without the clouds. It's like a blanket. Keeps everything warm. So while it may be a little drippy and dreary and rainy, it's better to have some clouds to keep it a little bit warmer in the 50s or 40s. Anyway, that sort of leads into the topic that I wanted to talk about today, which is the idea of local business. Being local is kind of a big thing in this area. I've found, again, in contrast to California, where most of the time when you're looking to do business with somebody, you're looking to do business with the best deal or the best person or, the best something. In Oregon, and probably a lot of other places too, and I should say California, I mean Southern California and the Orange County area, probably different in other places in California too, but the idea of local business just wasn't really promoted. Everything was commercial and big, and I'd gone to a few places on business and found that I could find better places to eat, just more independent businesses than I ever found in Orange County. And it just seemed like, well, there might be some around, you just didn't really want to go to them. And most of your choices ended up being like fast food. I find it a lot easier to eat healthier in other towns, and certainly around here. And I think that has to do with this encouragement of local business. Geographically speaking, local business is one that's close to you, in your town, in your county, and it's generally assumed and pretty true that if you are going to spend money with a local business that's a small business, then you're much more likely to see the revenue generated from those business transactions sort of recirculated around in your community. The local sandwich guy, maybe he donates some time to a local cause in town or something. Anyway, if you send the money to Taco Bell or something, most of that money just leaves your community right away. It's much better to keep the money within the community so that, just kind of, the way money works is it just swirls around and people just hold it at different times. It doesn't really get created or destroyed or stolen. But when you give it to a corporate entity, a lot of that money just leaves the community right away. Certainly the money that goes into payroll and sales tax kind of stays, but any profit, gone. So, we run an internet business. Take a break for the poop time. Alright. Well, we run Heeltoe Automotive. Is an internet-based business. It's an online retail sales environment. We do local pickups, which is convenient for people in the Portland and Orange County areas. We have 2 locations. You can come by and pick up their parts and don't have to pay for shipping. But for the most part, we're shipping parts. We ship parts all over the world. Recently, it came up online somewhere, I can't remember where, that one vendor should be used because they were local. And I think it was on Facebook. And I thought, what sense does that make? I'm like, I wasn't on a regional forum. I was on a car-specific forum. And I wasn't really sure where the person was that made that comment, located-wise. And it was a completely relative statement. Local to who? I'm assuming that she knew that the other vendor was close to her. So great, but she's not close to me, I don't think. And so that person isn't local to me. Why would I do business with them? Well, the reason why you would possibly do business with one internet company over another is because they sort of fall into that local realm, in the sense that while they might not be geographically close to you, they're still they're a part of your community, in a sense. You belong to the same car group. Maybe it's a first generation TSX or a third generation Civic or an NSX. The vendors that cater to these specific cars are specialists. They're specialists in that car. They know what parts work really well. They know which parts work well but aren't very reliable. They know what the most popular items are. So they're more knowledgeable. That's one reason to do business with an internet company over another, even if it is a geographically local one. But if we look at some of the reasons why you would do business with a local company in the first place, find that from an internet perspective, that person doesn't have to be close to you at all. So the word local takes on a totally different meaning. If you're doing business with a vendor on a forum, for example, you're doing business with somebody who is contributing money to keep that forum online. Forums are profit centers these days for advertising, but without that advertising revenue, the forum would not get the support, it would not get fast servers, it would not get new features, and it would probably end up dying or shrinking. So being a vendor on a forum is actually a contributory factor in that forum existing at all. Without support, the forum goes away. Also, like Heeltoe, for example, we do tests. We did that first generation TSX intake shootout. We've done a number of J-pipe comparisons, and we pay for those things out of our pockets to try to bring more information to the groups. Ultimately, yeah, to sell more parts, but to be an authority, to know, to answer some of these questions that people don't have answers to. Does the throttle body spacer do any good? What suspension system is good? We find this stuff out and tell it back to the community. We use profits from sales in a constructive way that's helpful to the community. We kind of give back in that way. We're not giving to you monetarily, we're giving you information. A lot of people come up with their own information. The forums are full of creative and innovative people. So I'm not trying to take credit. Stores aren't trying to take credit for knowing everything. That would be absurd. But we do a lot. Every time we do a dyno day for testing a part, it's $500 to rent the dyno and a couple $100 to pay in a technician. And, it's a day off of work for us. That costs a lot of money. So, we're putting more into it than the average person's going to be able to do. So that's sort of like keeping it local, in a way. When you purchase something from a small website that's a specialist, they're not doing a lot of business volume. They don't have a lot of buying power. They don't have the ability to get the cost as low. One of our counterparts in the industry, business project 130 or something. I think it's called. It's a Legend group or a Legend guy, and he was emailing me telling me how difficult of a time he was having trying to get a specific product at a competitive rate because he just didn't buy enough. It's like, well, when you specialize in Legends, you're not going to sell a lot of springs. You're just not. But he's passionate about the car, and he sort of deserves to be able to provide to that community, even though there's not a lot of people. Well, when faced with the decision of paying an extra $20 or $30 for a set of springs, a customer recently told me, as a consumer, I'm going to go where it's cheapest. It's sort of my responsibility to take care of my money in that way. And I thought, well, that's true. But if you do that enough, the car gets a little bit older, that guy's going to go out of business. And it's not because he was doing a bad job or that you did the wrong thing. That's not why at all. It's challenging, meeting demands for small markets. So a lot of people figure that buying from a small shop, paying that little bit of extra, is giving back. Now, I don't want to call it charity, but it's giving back. So the word local to me got a whole new meaning when I moved to Oregon, because I love doing local business. If there's not somebody in my neighborhood, there's maybe somebody in my town. If there's not somebody in my town, there's somebody in the next town that can do a job for me. And if not, then I go countywide. If not, I go statewide. If not, I go regional. So you spread out to larger and larger places, for specialized services. You still shop on Amazon. It's just, there's some stuff that you're gonna buy online. It's just fast, convenient, and that is today. But I get my coffee from a local roaster. They do a really good job. The coffee is not inexpensive, but I enjoy coffee, and they do a pretty good job. They're in my town. I help them out by giving them business. I think they deserve it for doing a good job. So local means something new to me now that it never meant before. And now, actually, it kind of means, again, something else, because it applies to the internet in sort of a completely different way. Stick true to the principles of it, though, and I think that we can be confident that whether we spend a little more or a little less at the next place, that we're not just doing something for ourselves, we're doing something for sort of the community as a whole. And that was really what I wanted to talk about today. It's local. Keep it local. Have a good day.